I posted to Pinterest every day for 6 months, and I have to say, even as a social media pro, I was shocked by what it did for my business, including growing traffic to my website by 10 times. If you've been wondering how to use Pinterest for your business, stick around. My name's Tori, I'm your go-to social media coach, and I want to make social media super simple for you to manage on your own, saving you time and growing your business. I'm dealing with a little bit of a cold today, so excuse my voice. I wanted to get you this information as quickly as I could. Let's get into it. You may or may not believe it, but before this experiment, I actually had never created an original pin to my Pinterest profile. Now, I'd managed Pinterest profiles for businesses, and of course I'd pinned to my boards, especially when I was planning for parties, but I'd only used my own Pinterest for personal use up to this point. Now, I knew that Pinterest could have a big impact for businesses. I'd seen it happen before. So when I launched this YouTube channel 6 months ago, I decided to really buckle down and experiment for 6 months. If you've watched some of my other videos, then you probably already know about the 6-month rule. But when you decide to start posting to a new social platform, I always recommend giving it 6 months at least of consistent posting, learning from your posts and adjusting to see if that platform gives you the results that you're looking for. And I have to say, Pinterest delivered. Now that the experiment is over, I have broken down everything I learned so that I can share it with you so you can see Pinterest succeed for your business too. And stick around to the end where I share why Pinterest might be crowned my new favorite social platform when it comes to my business. But first, let's start with what Pinterest actually is and why you should care about it. Pinterest is actually a search engine, not a traditional social networking platform. The traditional social platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they want to keep you on their app or their website as long as possible. They do not prioritize or push posts that lead users, people, off of their website or their app. They want to keep you on there scrolling. Pinterest, on the other hand, works like a search engine. So it's going to get you the information that you need whether or not it's on their app or website. Pinterest works like a visual Google, right? So you put in the keywords that you're looking for, it finds you the answers that you need, and it doesn't care whether you leave their site or not. This also means that your content has a longer shelf life on Pinterest. It's going to be seen more for a longer period of time. People use Pinterest to find solutions or ideas, so your pins can keep coming up for months. And with more than 500 million active users every single month, it's a good chance your content's going to be found there. As business owners, we are looking for platforms that provide long-term growth. And on Pinterest, pins can be seen for upwards of 3 months or more in search results regularly. And I found this to be true for me as some of my content I posted 6 months ago continued to be relevant and found in search results month after month after month. Now let's talk about the 4 things that I learned from posting to Pinterest for 6 months every single day. And the first, you might be able to guess, is posting consistently. Are you ready for one of my catchphrases? Consistency is key. That's true on every social media platform, and especially on Pinterest. This is the only network where I'm going to tell you you have to post at least once per day. Most networks I don't make you do every day. Pinterest you have to do every day to see results. Pinterest wants more content to show in its search results because it's a search engine, so it's looking for accounts that are consistently posting every day to boost to show to their users. Posting consistently on Pinterest is also going to help you understand what is and isn't working about your pins. So if you are posting every day consistently and you see a dip in your reach or your conversions, you know it has nothing to do with the fact that you've stopped posting. So you can look at the types of posts you've been posting to see if there's a change that maybe your audience doesn't like, or you can chalk it up to extenuating circumstances of maybe the time of year or something going on the app that may have impacted your reach or traffic. I want to pause real quick and note that at the beginning of this video, I told you my goal is to save you time and make social media manageable. And you may be thinking to yourself, posting to Pinterest every day is not manageable for me and will not save me time. And I totally understand that. But there are 2 things that you can keep in mind to make this really manageable and maybe decide that you're going to put more time into Pinterest than another way of marketing your business. First, not every pin needs to be unique. If you have longer content, like a YouTube video or a blog post or maybe some long website copy, you can break that down. For example, each of my YouTube videos or blog posts, I break down into 10 to 15 different pins based on different topics I cover, the title, some pull quotes. You can also take the same pin and recreate it a few different ways to appeal to different audiences or different segments of your audience. All of these pins link to the same place, but they have different titles and descriptions and images. So you're appealing to different people, but you're also being found for different search queries in the search engine. When I'm creating pins for Pinterest, for example, with a YouTube video, I will sit down with the YouTube video script and I will try to find the parts that I think will capture the attention of my audience the most. I'll rewrite the title of the video a few different ways. I'll pull quotes that I think people would find interesting. I'll try to find little bite-sized tips that are really manageable to absorb in a Pinterest format and share those as their own pins. And then I want to round that out, so I include personal photos so that my board feels a little bit more personal to me and less robotic, and videos of myself, shorter videos pulled from the longer video, like when I create reels, same idea, right? And I post those as pins as well. Try mixing image-based pins and text-based pins to keep your boards looking a little bit more balanced. We don't want all images or all text. We want it to look balanced and fluid. And then don't forget to use video yourself, because video views are up on Pinterest by about 200%. The second tip here on Pinterest is to use a scheduling tool. Metricool specifically is free. I'll link to it in the description below. And it allows you to schedule out, I think, up to 50 posts per month for free. So you can go in, schedule them out, and not think about it for the next several days. So when I'm creating pins for Pinterest, I like to batch it, right? So I sit down with a video or two, and I'll create up to about a month, 2 to 4 weeks worth of pins. And then I sit down and schedule them out that same day. I don't have to think about it between then, and I'm always ahead. I never fall behind schedule. The second thing I learned from posting so often to Pinterest was what types of pins my audience found the most intriguing or the most clickable. For me, those were eye-catching images with text overlays, followed closely by just image-only pins. And no matter what, I always had a lot of keywords in the title and description to make sure they were findable, but those were what worked best for me. If you're curious what might work best for you before you even start, you could try those options, right? Try what worked for me. Or take a look at other businesses in your industry, maybe your competitors that have successful Pinterest pages already. If you can see the likes or the comments or the repins on their content, what's getting the most engagement? That's going to be a really good starting point for you to know this type of pin tends to work well. I should probably create that for the audience as well. They're probably going to appreciate it. But don't be afraid to experiment, put your own spin on it, and make it more personal to you. You want it to be authentic to you and your business and your brand. So it really is flexible here. I wish I could give you the perfect answer, but posting every day for at least 6 months is going to give you your own answers. I promise. Now I have a tip here to make this a little bit more manageable. If you are thinking about creating pins and your brain is kind of exploding a little bit about how am I going to have time to do this, try Canva. Again, a free tool. I will link it in the description below. If you haven't used it yet, please use it. It's great. I use it almost every day. If you have, you're ahead of the curve and you know what you're doing. Canva has tons of free templates for Pinterest. You can go on, find a few you like, trade in your colors and your own pictures, or find some stock pictures there on Canva and roll with it. You can reuse these pin templates over and over and over again by changing out colors and images and the text. You don't have to start from scratch every time you're creating pins. You can reuse some of the same layouts and formats and colors and things. So don't be afraid to do that too. The third thing I learned from posting to Pinterest so often for 6 months is the importance of optimizing your pins, your pin titles, and your pin descriptions with keywords. I know I mentioned keywords just a few minutes ago in titles and descriptions, and I'm not going to leave you hanging. Let's talk about it. Keywords are incredibly important in any search engine when you're trying to be found on Google or any other search engine, and especially also on Pinterest. So how do you figure out what keywords you should be using when you're writing your titles and descriptions? My best advice is to take to Google, search your product or your service, and then scroll down a little bit. You're going to see a section where it says people also ask. Google tells you right there for free what people are searching for when it comes to your product or your service. Take those specific questions or the way that they word things and use those in your copy or in your writing when you're writing these titles and descriptions on Pinterest. Now, I'll admit that when I started posting to Pinterest, I did not put a lot of emphasis on keywords for that first month. I was feeling a little overwhelmed, as you might be now, of just trying to get posts out every single day. But once I got the hang of that for the first month, I decided to really dial down and think about what were people searching for on Pinterest that had to do with my service, my product, right? What are people looking for and how can I provide those answers in these pins? And when I made that change, my growth really did skyrocket quite a bit in month 2 and 3 just from that little change alone. I want to provide a quick little bonus tip here that when you're creating your titles and descriptions, they should complement the pin, right? They should explain the pin. So we don't want to copy and paste the text on the pin into the title and description, or if there's no context on the image whatsoever, we don't want to assume they know what the image is about when we're writing the title and the description. Make sure that it really complements and makes it easy for people to understand and makes them want to click to find out more. You also want to write descriptions that are about 100 to 200 characters. That's pretty optimal for SEO, search engine optimization, on Pinterest. The fourth thing I learned from posting to Pinterest every day is to stay the course. Even if you get discouraged, even if you see a hit or a plateau, don't give up. Give it those full 6 months. I did experience this when I was posting in month 4. My traffic just dropped significantly. I wasn't even getting really what I was getting in month 2. And I was worried that I'd hit a plateau. I was starting to question why I was still even doing this, but I stuck with it. And by the time September and October rolled around, I was getting 2 and 3 times even the traffic I was getting in month 2 and month 3. So don't give up. And then remember, if you're posting consistently, I was able to look back at August, was my month 4, and decide, my posts didn't really change. So it probably was just the back to school season and people were searching for that type of content instead. And so Pinterest was giving that a little bit more of a boost. It didn't really have anything to do with the content that I was creating, and I didn't need to make any big adjustments. So now that the experiment is over, I have to say I had a lot of fun with Pinterest, and the big question is, am I going to stay and continue posting there every day, or am I going to put my effort somewhere else? And I have to say I'm sticking with Pinterest, and there are 3 reasons why this may now be my very favorite social media platform when it comes to my business. First is the amount of traffic Pinterest generates. It is really fun to see those graphs grow. It is probably the most rewarding social platform I've been on in a very long time, and I honestly get excited to go on and look at my analytics probably more often than I should be checking them, just because I love knowing that I'm making an impact and that people are actually enjoying my content. The second reason is click-through rate. My click-through rate on Pinterest is upwards of, some posts get 25%, which is huge. I don't get near that amount of click-through rate on any of my social platforms. And so Pinterest, for me, when it comes to conversions, is definitely number 1. And third, I really feel like I have more meaningful reach on Pinterest. Again, Pinterest is a search engine, right? So it's really finding people that want to find out more about my topic, want to find out more about my product or service, want to be inspired, not just sit there and scroll. And so I feel like that's probably why my traffic is higher, my click-through rate is higher on Pinterest, is I'm reaching people who actually want to find out more information and aren't just doom scrolling, right? When they're sitting in their car or waiting for an appointment. So I have to say Pinterest for me seems like a much more meaningful social platform, at least for my business. Now, it's your turn. Are you wanting to try Pinterest out? Are you ready to jump in and see if it's great for your business as well? If any of this piqued your interest or sounds like something you can manage, I definitely recommend it. Again, I also recommend you give it the 6-month test, posting every single day there, seeing if it can give you the reach and the results that you're looking for. If you have any questions or if you just want to let me know how it's going, please do comment or send me a DM over on Instagram. I try to respond to everyone. I really do love hearing about how these tips and tricks help impact you and your business. If you want another video to watch, click over to this video where I talk about the top trends that are impacting your business on social media this year. And don't forget to subscribe so my next video is really easy for you to find. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay social.